Alright guys, I'm here back with a new video, and in this video we're back talking about Big Brother Canada, because obviously with it being the 10-year anniversary of Big Brother Canada, everyone knew that there were going to be rumors around a Big Brother Canada All-Star season. I guess I'm doing a cast speculation video, because that's just what I do. So again, I'll be running through every season of the show, talking about who I think is a possibility for being on this season. Let's start off with BB Can 1, and just in general, I don't really expect much of anyone from BB Can 1. BB Can 1's obviously 10 years ago at this point, and finding people who would be willing to play the game from that long ago, especially on Big Brother, a game that takes months to play for a very limited prize in the Canadian version here, I do think is just a difficult task in itself. So for me, I feel like the big contenders here to be on are, first up, Peter, obviously a member of the Shield, but also the host of the Sideshow for a while, and I feel like he is at least in the good graces of production, so I could definitely see him being on, though I wouldn't consider it that likely. And really the rest of the people would be the top three. So we got Emmett, and I think Emmett is a near lock if there is an All-Star season. I would be pretty surprised if he doesn't go on. I mean, he seems to be someone that is still willing to play again, and was obviously such a massive figure. They used to bring him in every season just for the sake of it. And the only reason he was on BB Can 5 is because of contractual reasons with Amazing Race. So I do feel like more than likely he will be on if we do get an All-Star season. Other two are a bit more wonky. Next up, we do have Gary, obviously, who was on BB Can 5 as well, though I can definitely see him being in consideration here. I would definitely expect BB Can 5 people to be considered unless there's some sort of second chance theme here. But otherwise, Gary was obviously such a star back in the day, was still a fan favorite in BB Can 5. I could see him being in consideration here. And the last person from season 1 is Jillian. And the only reason I would consider Jillian is because she is the first winner. I think if it wasn't for that, would not be that remembered nowadays. But yeah, obviously she would. But obviously just that prestige of being the first winner is something that I could see them putting on the cast for, though realistically, I wouldn't really expect it. Next up for BB Can 2, and really same thing for BB Can 2. Again, I feel like it's been so long that I wouldn't really expect too much here. Though I think you got a couple notable names. First up's obviously Aika. And obviously Aika's on if she wants it. I think that's really the point that we're at. I mean, I would be shocked if they didn't put Aika on the cast in a position where she wanted to be on. So obviously Aika is a massive consideration here. And then kind of like season 1, again, I think the rest are the final three. I mean, we got Netta. And Netta is someone that, again, I could see them bring back. I don't think it's necessarily as much of a guarantee as it was with Aika, but if they do want to up the prestige of their cast and bring back these legendary figures, I think Netta would be an interesting person to bring back here, especially with her having this kind of redemption arc to a degree. Also, I would consider Sabrina. Now, this one's interesting because I believe she was asked for BB Can 5 and turned it down, so I don't know how willing she would be to play here, though I think she is someone that is at least on their radar. And the last person I'm going to consider is Jon Pardi, obviously the winner. I believe he's talked about wanting to play again. It's been 9 years, though, so I don't know how up to date that is, though I feel like Jon Pardi is the type of person that would want to play, and is obviously a pretty big figure from at least back then to where I'll be shocked if he's not at least in consideration. Now we're moving on to BB Can 3. Realistically, looking at BB Can 3, I just don't know how likely a lot of these people really are. Again, I think the people from BB Can 5 would also still be at least in consideration. I think Cindy with Finesse is someone that's obviously still been all around BB Can, whether that be on the show literally last season or being a presence within the community. Like, I feel like Cindy's still like around, so I could see Cindy being brought back. I think Kevin Martin is someone that they would probably want back, or at least ask, though I would assume he would say no. And I think the same thing goes for Bruno. To be fair, I don't know how much they really would want Bruno nowadays, but even then, I don't think he would want it anyway. Like, I think they would at least be considerations. Brittany is someone that's kind of interesting to me, where Brittany, I believe, is now working for ET Canada, which, to be honest, I don't even know if that's a pro or a negative towards their chances of being on BB Can, but I mean, she's around at least, but might be too busy. But again, I think she would be in consideration. Also, you got to consider Godfrey. I mean, the fact that Godfrey hasn't been back is still kind of mind-blowing to me. Though I feel like we're at the point where, like, has it just been too long? And would they really want him? Though, again, I feel like he should be back. And also, we got to consider the winner in Sarah, obviously. And Sarah obviously was a big fan favorite at the time. Is a winner. I feel like unless they're going for a second chance theme, I definitely would expect them to ask Sarah. I just don't know if she would say yes. Now moving on to season 4, and here we got a couple people to consider. One of the relatively early boots I could see being on the board is Mitch, who was this massive player on BB Can 4, and gets screwed over due to a twist. And I feel like he's someone that I could definitely see being in consideration as well, especially considering he just recently at BBCan 10 got a mention there for his speech. So I feel like he's someone that's still on their minds. Now, I want to mention Ramsey here. I don't think he's particularly likely, and to be honest, I wouldn't really want him on the cast. But, I mean, he is someone that we do know was called for BBCan 5 and turned it down. So I wouldn't be surprised if they still have him on the mind, though, again, I wouldn't really expect it. Now, obviously, again, we got the final four here. We got Cassandra, who obviously already came back for BBCan 5, but still fan favorite within the community. Still present in the community. I feel like Cassandra would be the type of person that would be willing to play again, so I think she's definitely in consideration. Also, we do have Tim, and Tim has openly said that he wants to play again. My question would be, obviously, would they be willing to fly him out from Australia? And then even beyond that, would they be willing to probably pay a decent appearance fee for him? But I do feel like Tim is someone that wants to play again. I just don't know how likely it is that they actually get him. And then after that, we got to consider Kelsey. I feel like Kelsey is the type of person that would have an interesting arc on a return, though, again, definitely not a guarantee. And the same thing goes with the Pax Bros, who I think it would be interesting to see them back as individuals. I don't think it's particularly likely, but I think it would be interesting to see them have to play the game without each other. So again, wouldn't necessarily have them top of mind. Now moving on to BBCan 5, and I mean, in terms of newbies, I think the only people I could see being in consideration are Dimitris, who I actually think is pretty likely. I mean, you never know with availability, like you might turn it down, but I think Dimitris is the type of person that I could definitely see them bring back for this season. And then the other person is obviously Karen, who is a massive character, really fun presence. I feel like the type of person that would say yes. It's like, I think she's pretty likely on this as well. Next up, moving on to BBCan 6, and somewhat likely people, I think you got Hamza. I feel like Hamza is another one that I very much expect to be in BBCan's radars for people to bring back, especially if they're going for a second chance style cast, so I think he's in consideration. Also going to consider Erica. I feel like Erica is a near lock if she wants it. Like, I'll be pretty mind blown if they don't put Erica on if she wanted to come back, so I think she's likely. Also, I would consider Ryan, who, despite the fact that no one really liked Ryan on the season, he is still a pretty big presence in the community, and I feel like he is the type of person that they could at least consider. Also, I would consider Allie as someone that it seemed like production loved. I mean, they gave her a lot of credit in the edit for things to where I would expect her to at least be in consideration. A dark horse pick would be someone like Olivia, who I personally would like to see back. I think it could be interesting, though not necessarily as likely as the other people we're mentioning here. Also, another person I would like to see back that I don't know how likely it actually is Johnny. Again, like, I would love to see Johnny play again. I think he played extremely well the first time around, even though they didn't really show a lot of it, which is part of the reason why I get the sense that they don't like him, and that's why he wouldn't be on. And then we get the final two. I mean, I think Kayla is someone that I would look at as pretty likely. I mean, I believe she just started a family, so I'm not entirely sure if that could potentially stop her, though I do feel like just in general, Kayla is the type of person that would be very likely for a returning season. Also, I mean, you got to consider the winner in Paris, though I will say I don't think it's particularly likely. Paris obviously won the season, got a decent edit. I feel like production liked her, though I feel like she's also gone off the radar recently within the BBCan community. That makes me think that she's probably not really that willing to play again, though, again, you never know. Next, I'm moving on to BBCan 7, and here, again, I have a couple early boots that I think could be in the running. First, I would consider Chelsea Bird, who, again, got a big edit, seemed to be liked by production. I could definitely see her being in the running. Also, I would consider Sam, who, outside of the Pretty Boys, I feel like she's probably the person that got the next biggest edit. So I think she's in consideration. I would also consider Damien, considering he was a massive fan favorite at the time. And while he's not the most riveting TV by any means, I think he'll at least be in the conversation. And then we obviously got the Pretty Boys, excluding Mark, because, I mean, it's Mark. So again, Adam Pike, I think, is a lock if he wants it. I think if he wants to come back, he should be on. I would be mind blown if he isn't on. So again, he should be in the running. Also, you got Anthony, another one, massive lock if he wants to be on. I don't know how he isn't on if he wants it. And finally, we got Dane. And I think Dane is probably the least likely of the three to come back here. Again, just in general, I think winners are not super likely to be back. But I think Dane also just kind of feels like an archetype that's already filled by other more likely people. Though, again, if they are going for winners, wanting to really up the prestige of the cast, I could see Dane being on there. Next up for BBCan 8. And I personally don't think anyone from BBCan 8 will be on. I mean, I personally would like to see it. Again, I do still feel bad for those people screwed over by the season having to be canceled, though I just feel like production's probably just going to forget about BB Can 8. Though I feel like there is a chance that they try to do like one player from every season, or they just want to have a token representative from BB Can 8. And through that, I think it would be between Brooke and Sheldon, as obviously the two big players that got screwed over there. But again, realistically, I don't see it happening. Next up, we got BB Can 9. And 9 is a season I could definitely see a lot of returnees from. Again, I think there are a number of people that can be on. I think Victoria should be a lock. I'll be mind blown Victoria's not on. And if it is the case, I feel like it's because she turned it down. Again, I feel like Victoria should be on. No questions asked. Another pretty likely person in my eyes is Ro. I feel like Ro is someone that just feels like someone that BB Can would cast for this season. I feel like he came from a recent season, was a pretty big presence on that season. Also helps with the diversity of the season. I feel like he's the type of person that would definitely be on. Next up, also going to consider Jed. Now, again, like Brittany, he has started working for ET Canada. So again, I don't know if that is better or worse for his chances here. So I feel like just in general, Jed is the type of person that I 100% would expect to see back. I feel like Jed is the type of person that, one, is loved by production, but also has this really great returnee story and him wanting to right the wrong of him making the dumb mistake he did. So again, I think he would be in consideration. Also, I think Kiefer, pretty big lock if he wants it. I'll be shocked if Kiefer isn't on. Again, obviously it was fan favorite. I think a pretty likely returnee there. Also, I would consider Tara. I don't think she's a likely returnee, though I think if they're going for someone in her archetype, I feel like she could be in consideration, especially considering they gave her a pretty good edit, but not super likely. Also, would consider Brayden. I feel like Brayden seems to be someone that's liked by production. Like, I feel like Brayden is someone that could definitely be in consideration, but not really a massive lock in my eyes. And then obviously we got to talk about Ty. Now, I don't think Ty will be back. I don't think he wants to come back, from what I understand. However, I feel like he is someone that they would want back. I feel like if Ty were to say yes, I feel like he would be on. I just don't think it's particularly likely. And finally, we're talking about BB Can 10, the most recent season. And I would expect a decent amount of people back from BB Cans 9 and 10, considering they were both pretty popular seasons from the community, but also are obviously the most recent seasons. So from 10, I think the people that would be in consideration, I think you got Kyle Moore. Now, obviously, people hated him in the way that he went out. Obviously, he was considered like a flop. However, I do feel like Kyle Moore is the type of person that I think production would like, and I feel like they would like to see this like returnee story for him. And I feel like if this were a second chance season, I would expect Kyle Moore on there. Now, also, I would consider Herman. I think Herman is someone that I would personally like to see back. I think it would be really interesting to see how he plays the second time, though. I do worry that just archetype-wise, he has a lot of competition, but I would personally like to see Herman on this cast. Also going to consider Moose. I mean, Moose was a really fun presence his first time around, though didn't know the game. I think it would be interesting to see him know the game this time. And again, I feel like production liked him, so again, I think he's in consideration. I would also consider Gino, I guess. And I mean, with that, I guess I might as well just bring in JC Lynn too, considering I feel like they kind of come as a combo. As I feel like if they are cast, they're probably going to be cast together, considering they're still together. I feel like they would be looked at as this like interesting dynamic to bring into the game, though really without that, I don't look at them as super likely. But I would also consider Marty. Marty is someone that was the fan favorite last season, despite a lot of negativity surrounding him and a lot of the online community not liking him. He was fan favorite, and I feel like that at least would put him in consideration here. Also, I would consider Summer. I mean, I feel like Summer is a lock if she wants it. I'll be shocked that they didn't cast Summer when she wanted to be on, so I think she's pretty likely. Same thing goes with Betty, though I think Betty is probably more likely to turn it down, though Betty's the type of person that, again, I don't know how you don't cast her if she wants it. I guess I'll also mention Helena just for sake of it. Like, really, I don't see Helena being a likely returnee. I don't feel like production particularly liked Helena. They really gave her almost no edit and none of the credit for her relationship with Kevin, though I mean, she still at least was in that duo, so again, she probably would at least be in consideration. Also, I would consider Josh. Now, I don't think he's that likely, considering Josh is, again, not the most riveting TV, but again, I do think he has an interesting story on return, and considering he was just from the last season, I think he at least has to be talked about here. And the final person I'm going to mention is obviously the winner of the last season in Kevin Jacobs, who shouldn't be back here. I mean, he's going to be one of the first few boots, you would think, but again, I would be shocked that they didn't ask. And like, I wouldn't be shocked to see Kevin say yes despite knowing that he has no chance. but he also kind of has no chance though, does he? But there we go. I mean, that's everyone I could see being considered for BB Can 11. Now, obviously, this is just all speculation. For all we know, this is even a real all-star season, but I decided, like, why not? Let's just make this pretty quick video here, as I've done with every other speculated all-star season in the past. Well, with that, obviously, I will be covering BB Can 11 when it starts. I mean, I'll be doing a cast assessment when the cast comes out, or it'll be a preseason power ranking if it's an all-star season. I'll also be doing mid-season power ranking, season review, player ranking. Also, very soon will be my ranking of every Big Brother Canada player ever, which is coming out the Saturday after this video. Also, I have a BB Can 1 retrospective coming out after that as well. So again, a lot of BB Can stuff in the near future. But for now, that's the video. Thank you for watching.